been quite a while since I've done a Tulsi Gabbard video, but she had a unique insight that I want to just document here on the show on the deep state, a complete exposure of the evil deep state. I like her wisdom. She's used to be a Democrat. Remember, she ran against Biden in 2020 and then summarily left the party when she saw how crazy they were. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. And though Tulsi Gabbard is not my favorite politician, because I never trusted a Democrat, even an X one, or libertarian leaning Republicans I have a tough time with. Again, no offense if you are one, please subscribe, leave a comment. She's wise and she has some really cool insight because of that leaning. And for her to call out a Democrat, I think the Democrat Party has a little more weight with me, because it's not merely she's a Republican, she's a political righty. No, it's not that. She has a unique take on it. Let's get to it.
Well, you'll remember, Jason, that they didn't really have a Democratic primary at all. They didn't give Democrat voters in that primary an option. But
she's talking about them screwing her out and screwing Bernie Sanders out. That they were on hell's path. You know, that's back in 2016 too. They were always there to just kind of be-knight Queen Hillary. Tulsi Gabbard, does anyone really believe after seeing the debate that Biden is in charge? Remember, this is an oligarchy now. The real power lies with the deep state, intel agencies, and propaganda media, which we've covered all those. Who got him elected in the first place? They don't want Donald Trump elected because they're afraid he will expose and dismantle the shadow government, pulling the strings. What she's saying has been going along with our narrative, and that's why I'm doing a video on her right now. Their real fear is what Trump's going to do to them, and they're lawyering up right now in prep for a Trump win.
But here we find ourselves as we see all of this inner squabbling happening amongst Democrats and influential people in the Democratic sphere about whether or not Joe Biden should remain the nominee or whether they should swap him out.
Oh, yeah, and they're going to swap him out, of course, because they love power so much. But the fight and the rage continues. This fight, I predict, is going to go all the way through the convention. I don't think that's a big risky prediction or anything. I just think the Democrats are going to be screaming all the way to their eventual loss to Donald Trump. And anyone who loses to Donald Trump, it's going to be on them. That's part of, I saw Brian Kilmeade earlier today saying, Kamala Harris does not want to be the one who takes Joe Biden out, then runs, and then loses to Trump. Her career's over. She might have a career somewhere, maybe as a dog catcher.
And you look at why this infighting is happening. It's because they don't really care about what's best for the country. Quite frankly, when you look at it, really, they don't really care about Joe Biden. This isn't about loyalty to Joe Biden.
Yes. I'm glad someone said that too. Notice the Democrats' main focus is on Joe Biden in the fall. They don't care that they're dragging him through the presidency right now, and he's totally unfit. Now, the Democrats are not in general calling for that Article 25 or whatever it is of insanity to remove him because he's incompetent, or impeachment for being incompetent and incapable of doing something. They're not concerned about Biden today not being a danger attracting America's enemies around the world. That doesn't upset them. They seem okay with just dragging this slobbering corpse across the finish line. They only care about, is Trump winning? Now, that's the biggest thing to remember. Trump is winning. Biden is losing. And that's the only reason why they care now that his debate performance was bad. It's because Biden is polling at like 36% to 40%, and Trump is winning and smoking him. So now suddenly Biden's a problem. They're going, look, we thought we could pull off this, pull the cover over America's eyes a little bit longer. They called us out. His numbers are crashing. And now we care, not for Biden, not for the Democrat Party, not for America, but for the holding on to power, which is the end all be all for Democrats.
They're trying to figure out how best they can stay in power. So they're trying to figure out, is Joe Biden that winning horse, or do they need to put him out to pasture and find someone else that they believe can win.
Yeah. And because Biden can't get his numbers turned around, now they're thinking about bigger, risky moves. Okay. Again, if they got his numbers turned around, they'd be all, Biden is sharper than ever. But can you believe how sharp he is as he stares off and mumbles? That's because he's taking information from his mind and the universe. He has to gaze off into space. They're talking about him being a genius again. If his numbers were up, remember that if you ever got up to 50%, they would be 100%, including all these Democrats going, we have to get rid of him, even if he was in the same mental condition, just as decrepit. If he was polling higher, they'd be fine with him. That's why you never put an X next to a Democrat.
Who will also be a figurehead that they can be the puppet masters for and control. So
yeah, and so they're always in control. This is a group control situation. They love compliant leaders, not radicals. They want compliant leaders. They'll be radical behind these. Remember, Lunch Pail Joe was always considered a centrist, just a good old-fashioned Democrat. And then suddenly he gets in office and he's the most wacko leftist known to man. Why? Because of the people in control of the actual presidency. I'm not talking about secret, weird, dark rooms. I'm talking about normal Democrats, Valerie Jarrett, Barack Obama's people, and the media. They're listening to culture, making sure they're going.
He pointed out Jill and Hunter Biden, but really I think there's something far more serious going on here about who's really in control. Clearly, Joe Biden showed the country in the debate that he is incapable of being the president and commander-in-chief, clearly is not calling the shots.
I like that Hunter Biden is the one now at his right arm, helping him make his decisions. A crackhead who should be a felon this is what the Democrats voted for, to have Hunter Biden be in control?
We should all be asking who is really calling the shots, and it's what we know to be the deep state. It's those who are in unelected positions, whether they be political figures, the military-industrial complex, the national security state, their friends in the propaganda media, everyone who gets their power by knowing that they can control this figurehead.
So it's based on their amount of power and flex they have, that they just walk into the office and start telling Joe Biden what to do, and they get their way.
Which is why they're doing all they can to destroy Trump, because they know that he will expose them and dismantle their power.
And that's why we have to vote for Trump. You have to break up this power. That's the Democrats admitting, and because they knowingly are using these power structures, Trump has to go in and break that power structure. That means firing people. What he said, the way he put it, was being a dictator on day one. That's what he meant by it. He didn't mean a literal dictator. He meant, you're going to think I'm a dictator when I go in and, like, say, cut the entire Environmental Protection Agency, the entire educational complex, anyone with an appointment he fires. That's the way, the path forward to break us from this spell. And I'm thankful for Tulsi Gabbard for letting us know about it. The deep state, remember, I've said this now for over a year. It's not Trump versus Biden. It's Trump versus the state. There is no deep state. There is only the state. I'm Doug in Exile.